Morning, everyone. I gotta say that coming to presentations like this when you've had a presenter go before you that has the best horror stories possible, it is so hard to follow afterwards. So thank you all. It's wonderful to be here. So my background is I trained as an accountant. I'm based in Christchurch, but originally from Invercargill, which you'll pick up as soon as I say purple work shirt. Anyone else from down south that's travelled all the way? No? Okay, we'll represent, that's fine. So today what I'm going to be talking about is helping you to building trust with your clients, but also feeling confident to have those conversations with your clients around fintech. So just a little bit more about us before I jump into this actually. So we're based in Christchurch. I use my accounting background along with my team to help people get the best solutions for them. So looking at add-ons or looking at the systems that people have, working out the problems they're having and finding the right solutions to map it all. So that's what we're all about, is leveraging technology to make businesses more efficient. So the big idea that I want to talk about today is about advisory, and also how the advisory side of things with fintech is something that you can be looking at. So how many of you have been having discussions with clients and they start to talk about technology and you kind of want to end the conversation and move on to something else quickly because it's just out of your comfort zone? How many people have found that? Yeah, a few honest people, good on you. It is something that is daunting and intimidating. Like Xero alone, the add-on market there has over 1,000 apps. I don't even know how many there are. It's just, there's so many of them out there, and there's new ones that people are using or talking about constantly. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be talking about them with your clients. Again, another question, how many of you have had scenarios where your clients have gone off, they've found an app, and they've thought, this is going to solve all my problems, they've plugged it into the Xero file, and you've then found the disaster the next day afterwards? How many have had that happen? Yeah, it's a very common horror story. And a lot of the time, not always, because we know we've got those gun-ho clients that just go, yes, that looks great, they've had the sales pitch, and they just go and do that. That's going to happen. But for those clients that you're not having those conversations with, it's more likely that they're going to go ahead and do that because they feel they can't talk to you about these things. So the thing with advisory, what it essentially boils down to is it's helping clients make better decisions. So you're doing that already with cash flow forecasts, with budgeting, tax advice, business planning. A lot of you are doing that already. But the thing that enables those goals to succeed is the tech. If they don't have the right systems in place, then those goals are pie in the sky things that can't be achieved, or they're achieved with horrifically long work hours in some cases. Tech is just another part of those discussions that you need to be having. Now, again, something I really want to emphasize, and those that have heard me talk before, is you don't have to be talking about specific apps to be able to have a tech conversation. It's all about knowing or understanding the why, understanding what it is that the issues are and how that you can work with your clients to flesh those out more. So again, you're already the trusted advisor. You've been working with some of these clients for decades in some cases. You know their business inside and out. You know the things that work and things that don't. That puts you in a great position to go, okay, what are the problems that you're having with tech? Again, you're not there to necessarily solve them, but you're there to lead the discussions, including the fact that you understand all these other things that are already happening in that business. And lastly, you don't need to be a technical expert, just be curious. Asking the why question. I mean, who remembers the Looney Tunes? I can't remember the character, but it's one that was always saying why. Constantly. You need to be that character that just keeps delving into the why until you get to understanding of what is the thing that's causing them problems. And again, I'm reiterating, it's not about software, it's about solving problems. You're not having to talk about API integrations, data migrations, reporting dashboard, user permissions. You don't need to worry about those discussions. That's not the sort of discussions I'm recommending that you have. It's understanding what the process pain is. If you're looking at a client's balance sheet and you're looking at their debtors and creditors and there's lots of overdues, chances are there's a process issue there. Do they have an automated follow-up that they're doing? Are the creditors overdue purely because it's taking so long for them to be signed off or approved or whatever that might be? take your client's frustration, turning that into opportunity, asking them questions. Why is it that these things are taking so long? What are the things that are slowing you down? Understanding what the options are. And then again, it's about building confidence, not complexity. It's not about going and telling them, right, put in this app and this app and this app and this app and it solves everything. It's not about that. It's going, right, where is it going wrong? What are the things you need to look at? And I am going to go through some specific examples later, so it's not all just me talking theory at you. But some of the questions you could be asking is, where do you find your processes are breaking down? Is it when jobs are coming in, if it's a job-based business? Is it when you're trying to report on the margin that they're making on products they're manufacturing? And then a one that we often see, what information do you want to see that you can't see at the moment or can't see quickly? Is someone having to export out a bunch of reports to Excel and combine them to get a result that's probably now 3 weeks out of date? What do you spend the most time chasing? Is it your internal team? Is it taking them too long to get information to you? Is it your clients? Is it suppliers? Where are the pain points? And do they know if they're actually profitable? So yes, obviously from a profit and loss side of things, you can track that. But if they're a job-based or service-based business, can they tell you what margin they're making on their jobs? If they're manufacturing, can they tell you what margin they're making on their different product groups, things that are doing well and things that aren't? This is all critical information, and particularly in the economy that we're in right now. Without that information, businesses are at risk. And then the golden question, we always love to throw these types of questions to clients. What's the one process you'd fix if you could? And that's the whole pie in the sky idea. Okay, if you could wave a magic wand, what's the thing that you would like to fix? And that can often lead to more things that they can talk about. So this is an outline of an advisory framework that we would be recommending that you look at when you're having these software discussions. So again, this is using the same skill sets that you're already doing when you are discussing business planning, cash flow forecasting, all of it. It's the same thing. So it's the first step is listening. What's not working? And then diving into what are they not telling you? And again, with your knowledge of the business and the things or the challenges that you've seen previously based on what you've been working with them, you have an amazing insight into be able to ask those questions to go, okay, I remember this issue. Is that really what's happening here? Is that what you're telling me? And ask questions. You don't have to be coming up with the answers. It's often a case of the client doesn't know the problem because they don't know the right way to frame it within their mind. But if you're the one asking the questions, you're teasing that information out of them. And then translating that, finding out what the why is. For any of you that have a brain a bit like mine, which can be a bit of a spaghetti junction, when you have those moments where you think of a phrase and you just think, oh, that's gold. This was one of those moments for me. If you don't know the why, the what won't fix it. If you don't understand why the problem exists, why the things are happening, all of that side of things, the what or the thing that you put in to fix it isn't going to fix it. And then lastly, speak it back to them. Because you might have been listening in the meeting, but you may have heard something different, or you may have heard things from a different perspective that they might not have thought of. So it's saying back to them to say, this is what I've heard, this is what it sounds like the problems are, these are the things you're looking to solve. And get that agreement from them to go, yep, that sums it up, that's what we're dealing with, that's the problem we're looking to try and fix. And again, in any of this, you have not had to tell them the software to use. You've not had to tell them, this software is the one you should put in, this is the thing you should be changing. You've just been giving them a chance to talk to you and using your own experience with other businesses as well as theirs to be able to put together what you think is the problem that needs to be fixed. Now, from here, depending on what the solution is, or what the solution you think it might be, you could potentially be doing it internally. So that's something where, say, if it's just simply they need more training in the accounting software, or it might be an admin team member that needs a bit more help, that could be all it needs. It's just training on different ways of doing things within the existing systems, and we are always advocating for that. Because how often have you seen scenarios, again, show of hands, where a client's gone, I've got these problems to fix, and they put in a new software, and all they've done is traded one set of problems for another. How many people have had that? Precisely. So 100% the first thing to go to is what can we do with what you've already got? If what they've already got is only Excel, Probably not. You're probably moving to something else. And that can be yourself, depending on your comfort level and depending on your abilities with apps. And again, everyone's different. Some people don't want to go there at all. That's fine. You can still do these discussions, but you don't have to do the setup. So to look at some scenarios, I should just check time. Cool. So this one, I'm sure, how many people have had scenarios like this where people are trying to chase invoices or bills and reconcile payments, and they've got clients that have been saying this? Has this come up, something that comes up a lot? A few nods? Great. Often, this is a process issue. Now, the process could be because the person that's been doing it has been doing it for 30 years and never changes, which might be a bit more of a personality issue, but that's a whole other conversation. Or it could just be that they've inherited a set process and they don't know of a different way. Sometimes it can be perceived sufficiency, is the term I like to use here, is they don't know that there is a different way of doing things that would actually half or make the time a third of the length of what it needs to be. So again, it's coming back to the listen question. What's your current system? What are your current processes? What are the steps that you're working through? What are they currently doing in that regard? And what's the thing that's taking them so long? Who is touching each step? Who are the different people that are interacting at each point? And are there bottlenecks at that point? Is there someone in there that's slowing down the process? And then again, it may not be a system change. It could be just a bit of training for that person. Or it could be finding out what's the thing that's taking them so long. If it's a case of they never read their emails, potentially it could be looking at, like in this case, an approval software that pings their phone, because that's the thing that they're looking at more often. It's finding out where are they going to most likely interact with the process. And of course, asking what the delays are. So then translating that. So you're diagnosing whether it's a workflow or a visibility problem. So is it the process is too long, or there's too many steps, or people are holding it up, or people just aren't seeing the information that they need. And then from there, it's recommending paths. So that could be training of your team or of the team to help them understand of a different process, or helping with areas that they might not have understanding of. Or it could be looking at putting in something like an Approval Max or a Dext or HubDoc or something like that to help automate the process more. Or if it's out of your remit, talking to an implementation partner like myself or some of the other ones that are around the country. In scenario 2, the scaling client. So this is an example of someone where, and we're seeing a lot more, a bit more of this now. I mean, I don't know about you, but it's a really funny economy out there. There are some businesses that are doing so well and others that are just struggling. And often they're in the same sector. So if you can figure it out, tell me. I have no idea. But often with these scaling clients is they get to a point where they're going, we feel like we've outgrown our system. We feel like we're not getting the information we need. Now, the outgrowing systems, this is, it's a funny one in terms of what that can actually mean. Sometimes it does literally mean that the systems they have can't support them anymore. Sometimes it's more a case of how they're using the system that they've outgrown. Like if they started as a small business with maybe 2 or 3 people and they had a really, they had a system that was relatively manual, but given the volume they had, it was fine. It may be a case of that they're just not using their existing tech well. A lot of the times people with, say, job costing or inventory systems are barely using 20 to 30% of that system's capability. So what they've outgrown is how they use the system, not the system itself. So it's important to try and work out that distinction. And then another thing with that is, to take Xero as the example, is, or even MYOB, is people say, oh, we've outgrown that system. We're a bigger business now. We need something that's bigger. We need a big ERP and they don't say this, but the massive price tag that goes with it. A lot of the times that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to move away from those systems. I've been at a conference recently and they put, I think, the top 10 businesses in terms of their turnover that were using Xero, and some of them were tens of billions of dollars, and they were happily using Xero. And again, probably the same for MYOB as well. It's not about the number of dollars, it's all about transaction volume, it's about tech stack, it's about all of that. So just because the business gets bigger doesn't mean that everything has to change. If the business is growing, it's still important to have those conversations, of course, to work out what's working and what's not. But it's understanding the why. Yet again, it's going, why do you think you're outgrowing it? Is it because we need to change? Because Nothing throws a workforce out of kilter than changing systems. So unless you have to, don't go down that track. So going back to the advisory framework. So what is it they want to get better visibility on? And is the lack of visibility because their current system can't report on it? Or is it because the data's not going in the first place? Again, big distinction there. If the system they're using can't even put the data in to begin with, well, then that probably is a system issue. If it's a case of the system can put it in, and they're just not putting it in at all, not really the system's fault in that issue. So that's where it's important to understand which of the two camps we're sitting in. And again, looking at that future focus. So yes, they're growing now, but where do they see themselves going? What's their goals? What's their 5-term plan? And again, you've been doing the business planning potentially for these people, so you already have that insight. And that can be included as part of these discussions as well. And again, recommend and repeat back. So understand, go back to them and say, this is what we've understood, this is the why, this is the thing that you're wanting to solve. And then again, look within your own wheelhouse to see, okay, is there anything that we can do internally that we think can help them, or do we need to go to someone else? Even if you do go to someone else, and I put this really boldly in here, is that doesn't mean you then hand it off and then don't touch it ever again. Because at the end of the day, people like myself who come in to implement systems, we're only there for a short-term time period, generally. After that, you maintain the relationship afterwards. So given that you're doing that, you want to keep involved in that process to ensure that the outcomes that your client is getting is what they want, and keeping people like myself or other implementers accountable to ensure that we're meeting those goals. And something I didn't mention before, but this slide has prompted me of, in all of those conversations you're having, charge for it. It might only be a small part of your business planning meeting, or it might not even be a separate meeting of its own as well. But if you're having these conversations, again, you're drawing on your knowledge from other businesses you've worked at, either in the industry or outside the industry, and you're also drawing on the knowledge of that client themselves. And that's knowledge that is worth something. So you need to be making sure that you are charging for these things that you're doing as well. Now, with the fintech side of things, sometimes you might want to do the installs yourself, or you might want to do some of the software work yourself. Again, you don't have to. It's understanding your comfort level. It's also understanding your team's comfort level in that regard. You might have certain team members that have experience with certain apps, and if you've got enough clients that are regularly using those apps, then that could be something you do in-house. Absolutely fine. But if you are at capacity, or you don't really want to go down that track, that's where having a network of other people that you can go to is really important. You want to choose people, implementation partners that you trust, that you know you can work with, and you know will look after your client. And it doesn't have to be me. There are a number of other ones around the country as well. It's finding the one that works for you and for your clients. And in all of this process, stay the project lead. Don't pass it off to the implementer and then stay out of it and then get a surprise when things perhaps haven't gone to plan, or you feel like it's not, things have changed and you haven't kept up. Keep involved in that conversation. And again, monetizing it. You shouldn't be giving away your time for free. When implementers like myself come along, we don't have the knowledge or the background of the client. You do, and that's worth something. To not just to when you pass it on to us, but also to your clients. Because your clients are not the ones having to have the conversations necessarily. You're the one passing on all the information you've done. Okay, moving on to AI. Now, I remember when I was back at uni, there were all these conversations, and we've all heard them before, about how things like Xero or just accounting systems in general or other systems were going to replace us all and we weren't going to be needed. Well, yeah, clearly that's not happened. And AI is the same. So AI is not about to replace us, but it does change what we do. Again, this is the key here, is AI, like as I've put up here, AI doesn't replace your expertise, it amplifies it. It's all about enabling you to be more efficient, get faster outcomes, and remove all those mundane tasks that are taking you forever to do. So AI can't build relationships or earn trust. It's just something that's in the background that helps you get the information you need, or if your brain's a bit like mine, coordinate it in a way that is palatable for your clients. It's every conversation you're having with your clients is something that AI can't do. It's you getting that information from them and then using AI to help formulate that into something that's then able to be passed on to other people. Some use cases for AI that I like to look at is meeting capture. How many people have an AI that is capturing their meetings and giving them transcripts and agenda or action items at the end of it? How many people are using that? Yes, good. How many people have been thinking about doing it? Yeah. Okay. I cannot recommend this enough. We use Firefly's AI. I use it when I'm having in-person meetings and also if they're online. And I do it in both because that means that I can focus on the conversations that I'm having and not trying to write something down that only I'm going to read afterwards. I have typical accountant handwriting. No one else can read it. So it doesn't have to be Fireflies. There are many other options out there that you can look at, but it is life-changing once you bring that in because it gives you the ability to focus solely on what you're doing, knowing that something else is taking those notes for you, and you can refer back to it later on. I mean, the amount of times I've gone back a couple of weeks later to go, what the heck did I say in that meeting? Or, did I say that? I need to make sure I actually did or didn't say that. And I can go back, I can see the transcript, I can see it by time, I can then see all the items that the AI has spat out, and then I can use that later on. And I often will combine my Fireflies notes with my own musings or ramblings afterwards to help prepare reports. Stick them both into my ChatGPT channel that I'm using. It then spits out a report which I then just proofread and edit. And I haven't had to spend all the time typing it. And these things, they don't take a lot to bring in. There's small changes that can make a big difference and make you more efficient. So have a look at the options out there. Fireflies is a great one. If you've got ChatGPT already or something like that and you don't know which note taker to use, for example, you could put in a search to go, thinking about Fireflies, can you bring me some alternatives? And what's the good and bad of each one? And let it do the research for you. Analyzing and reporting, using ChatGPT to analyze meeting transcripts. So again, like I was saying, using the likes of Fireflies and then your own musings afterwards, checking in there going, right, compile all of this into a report. And it's amazing what it can do and the clarity it can bring. Now, it's not always right. I mean, we've seen enough AI things online, and if you've used ChatGPT or other things like that, you've seen the outcomes of it. It's not always on the mark. So it always requires that human touch to ensure that you get the right outcome. The way I had it described to me the other day is AI is 20% you putting in what you think or the information you have, 60% of the processing is AI, and then it's 20% you making it more human at the other end. It's very much that kind of arrangement. But again, it's doing 60% of the work, so why wouldn't you try it? And musings. Do you talk to yourself? So this is a funny one. So I recently got diagnosed as neurodivergent, and so for me, I can't type fast enough for my brain. So I use ChatGPT, and then after a meeting, I just ramble at the thing. And I just tell it all the things. I go, right, we talked about this over here, there was this report, there was this part, there was this thing, and this thing, this. I'm just going all over the place, because that's what my brain's doing anyway. And it compiles it all into something that's palatable for normal people to then read afterwards. So it's a fantastic tool, even if you're not neurodivergent like me, but if you find that, okay, I've had the meeting, I've got all the stuff in my head and I want to get it out, having something like ChatGPT that you can talk to, that compiles it all and spits it out later on, for me it gives me mind freedom, because I'm now not thinking about it anymore because I've got it written somewhere, I've at least got the audio recorded somewhere. You don't have to put it into ChatGPT, you could just open voice memo on your phone, talk to that, and then put it into ChatGPT later. For me, it's just peace of mind of knowing that I've got the information out and I can then focus on the next client that I need to pick up the work for. How am I doing on time? Okay. So bringing it all together. Your clients don't need you to be the tech support. They need your perspective. That's the key here. They want to know, well, they want to have your perspective around what works and what doesn't, what are the things that they are having trouble with, and how to tease that answer out of them. Because often, if you just ask them what's wrong with your tech or what's not working with your tech, you'll probably get an awkward silence to begin with because they don't quite know where to go there. But if you have a list of questions or things that you're asking them to prompt that information out, you could have them talking for hours. And again, you've got the skills. You're already doing the advisory work. You're already advising on probably every other part of their business. And the technology is all related to everything else within there. So it's important that you bring that into it, because without the right tech within a business, they're going to struggle to meet those other areas. And once again, you're the guide. You're not the guru. You don't have to be the tech guru that knows all the terms and knows how it all works. It's about having those discussions to understand what they need and then deciding what your next step is to either help them internally or get someone external. And of course, leveraging AI. So meeting note taker. Having something like a ChatGPT or something where maybe you've taught it a bit about yourself by putting in your website, your LinkedIn profile, other information, and getting it to understand this is how I work, this is what's important to me. And then it will then use that information to go, right, when I'm preparing reports for person A, I will spit it out this way, or I'll put this perspective on it. This is what we'll focus on. And it's not hard to get started on that. It's daunting, I get it, but there are lots of online courses. There's lots of ways to get started on that. And if you've got questions, I'm very happy to talk to anyone about it. I'm definitely not what you'd call an early adopter with these things, so I'm not going to, I haven't actually got as far along as you might think in these things. I mean, if anyone was in Christchurch for Kaya's talk, he's the AI guru. I'm nowhere near him. But I have started on these lines, and the small things that I have done have made a huge difference to the business. So it's not as intimidating as it seems. Cool, how are we doing? Okay, I think we're on to Q&A. Now, I'll just actually jump to this slide. If you'd like to know more about tech advisory or want to talk to me about some of the tech that I work with for clients, there is a QR code up there. Very welcome to get in touch, and I'll be around for the rest of the day as well. Yeah, we'll move on to questions. Oh, okay, right.
Thank you, Josh. I'm going to go back to the software that you talked about. So we were part of a roundtable discussion at the Beehive for Tech Week.
Yeah.
I can't remember, and I couldn't search it quick enough. Do you know the percentage of productivity we're losing because we're not embracing technology and software?
I'm trying to remember, and I can picture the slide, but I can't remember the number.
It is huge. I can't remember what it was.
90-something%. It's a crazy number that we're losing. There's millions, billions of dollars being left on the table.
The dollar figure was really quite concerning. And I guess to that point, as trusted advisors, we really need to be seeing where our clients can have efficiency in their business, and software is a massive one. So I've taken the listen, translate, and recommend. Yep. Write that down and just start having conversations with our clients, because we want them to get their businesses better. Software is a massive way to do that.
And you don't have to, with the recommend is not recommend a system. It's recommend someone either internally or externally to help them find the system.
Yeah, cool. That musing, is that your word?
Yeah. Yeah.
So recently at XeroCon, our mate Kaya was saying about how he drives home from work and he just talks to himself in the car, the whole driveway home.
He's in Auckland, he's got lots of time.
Yeah. And it just downloads your mind for the day. Yeah. So then when you get home, your day's gone. Yeah. I'm like, how cool is that? It's like a little life coach. It makes such a huge
difference. And that's the sort of thing I've been doing, particularly after meetings, is go, right, get it all out. So then I'm not waking up at midnight going, oh, I forgot to write that down somewhere else.
I didn't know you could chat to GPT like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
to ChatGPT.
Don't use ChatGPT just like Google. It can do so much more than just Google. It's really powerful. So, yeah. And it doesn't take much to unlock that.
Cool. They were my questions, so I better ask some other ones from Slido. Any other AI products that people should try? What's your top 3?
Oh, God. Well, I mean, Fireflies and ChatGPT are definitely 2 at the top. You'll actually probably find that a lot of the systems you're using have AI built into them already in a lot of cases. So you're probably using more than what you realize. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. I think Copilot is another one that I've had a few people using.
That's the Microsoft ChatGPT.
Microsoft ChatGPT version. I'm trying to think of other ones that come to mind, but it's one of those mind blank things where I'm like, can't remember. But those are my three.
There's a comment here about disclosure requirements around recording meetings. So with Fireflies, if you're on Teams or Zoom, you can say it's there, but it's pretty obvious it's there because it comes up like a person, so they can see it.
And they actually will send out emails ahead of time to say that there is going to be Fireflies joining this meeting. It's going to let you know that it's going to be recorded. And then, of course, just like with any other legalish type of thing, talk to them about it beforehand and say, look, we'd like to do this. If you're not comfortable, that's fine. But it does that automation for you anyway.
And phone calls are probably obviously different because you need to tell them that you're recording, but that's legal. We're not legal. We're accountants.
Yeah.
You should probably have a policy, though, I would say, so that all your team know as well. So it knows that if you are recording, you let them know you're recording. Do you delete it straight after? Are you allowed to keep it? Whatever it is.
Don't just sneak it in like Big Brother and just go, we are recording.
Yeah.
No, let them know.
This is an interesting one. And I mean, you're not an AI expert.
No.
So if you don't know the answer to this
opinions.
one. If you don't know the answer to this one, feel free to say, not me. What are the implications of uploading client data or client-sensitive information to ChatGPT?
Well, this is where, and I have Kaya's voice ringing in my head already, you need to not use the free version. Make sure you're paying for, I think it's the team.
Oh, someone's talking to us already. That's so nice. It's lovely to meet you.
Make sure you have a paid version. I think off the top of my head, it's like ChatGPT Teams or Enterprise or something like that. Make sure you are paying for it. Use the free one. Your client information is available to everyone. If you've got the paid one, it has a little disclaimer at the bottom that says that this is just being used internally. It's not available for ChatGPT's general research. And as long as it's saying that at the bottom in your chats or you're paying for it, you'll be fine because, valid concern.
I can see Scott's hand going up because we talked about this last night and I reckon we could get a good debate going between the AI experts about what is actually not out there in the big world and what isn't, because you're going to challenge that, aren't you?
I was going to just say that if you're using the paid version, you still have to go into settings and toggle off the sharing.
Okay, so that for anyone on live stream that didn't hear, if you're using the paid version, go into settings and toggle off sharing, which is good to know because I haven't done that, so that's handy to know. That's ChatGPT?
Yes, ChatGPT.
Cool.
And it will, if you've done it, it will make it quite clear in the chats to say at the bottom of the disclaimer that it's not using it for other people.
This will be right up your alley. Your favourite software recommendations for manufacturing firms?
Manufacturing. So there's two that, actually kind of three that I would go to. Unleashed is probably the inventory system I've used the most of over the years. But then there is, of course, Sin7 Core, or used to be Deer, depending on which one. That's another good option. And then if there's a job costing element, WorkGuru is another one that I would be looking at because it's one of the few systems that has both job costing and inventory with manufacturing combined in one system, and it was actually developed by people that used to do the work that I do because they got sick of seeing a hole in the market for a system like that.
Cool. And that's all there is here. Will ATAINZ accept AI training as CPD? Of course we will accept AI training. I actually hope that everyone does some AI training as part of their CPD for the year. And what do you know? We've partnered with Law Cyborg, who is going to give us some AI webinars that will go up on Radar in the next couple of weeks. So you can do your AI training. Yay. Thank you, Josh. We do have a gift.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't think you drink, so if it contains alcohol, I'll just come and see you after. No alcohol? Damn.
All good.
Okay. Thank you. Put your hands together for Josh.
Thank you very much.